Echoes of the forest. The forest was old, older than the village, older than the maps, older than memory. It stood like a sleeping giant beyond the fields of Norwyn, cloaked in mist and mystery. The villagers whispered of strange lights, of voices carried by the wind, and of people who entered but never returned. Yet, on the morning of her 17th birthday, Elara stepped into the forest alone. She wasn't foolish. She had heard the stories. But she had also read the journals hidden in her grandmother's attic, pages filled with drawings of ancient runes, notes about disappearing trails, and entries signed with a single letter, L. Her grandmother, Lilian, had vanished when Elara was just a baby. The family had always said she got lost in the forest. But Elara had never believed it was that simple. The trees welcomed her with silence. No birds, no breeze, just the crunch of her boots against the moss and the soft breath of fog. She wore a cloak, carried a small lantern, and clutched a map she had sketched from her grandmother's notes. Her heart pounded, but her resolve was firm. She was not here to explore. She was here for answers. Hours passed. The deeper she went, the more the forest seemed to shift. Trees bent unnaturally, their bark twisted like veins. The path behind her faded as though the forest erased it deliberately. But she kept going, guided by the symbols carved in old stones, just like those in the journals. At last, she reached a clearing. At its center stood a stone archway, half covered in ivy and glowing faintly with blue light. It looked impossibly old, cracked, weathered, and humming with energy. Elara stepped closer, the hair on her arms rising. Beneath the arch, a low whisper filled the air. A voice, soft, melodic, and haunting. Elara. She froze. Who's there? No answer. Only a warm gust of wind, curling around her like a hand. She stepped through the arch. And the world changed. Where the forest had been gray and still, this new realm pulsed with color. The sky was a deep lavender, and the trees glowed with life, golden leaves, silver bark, and flowers that shimmered like glass. Strange creatures darted between branches. Winged foxes, translucent deer, birds with tails like comets. It was breathtaking, but she didn't forget why she was there. She followed a winding path of light, each step echoing like thunder in her chest. The whispering returned, louder this time, guiding her deeper into the realm. Finally, she reached a glade. At its center stood a woman, tall, graceful, and dressed in robes that shimmered like water. Her eyes were the same shade of green as Elara's. Grandmother, Elara whispered. The woman smiled sadly. You've grown. Tears filled Elara's eyes. You're alive. Yes, and no. This place, the forest, it's a boundary. A veil between worlds. When I crossed over, I became part of it. Why did you leave us? Elara asked, voice shaking. Lilian looked away. I was searching for something. A doorway. A truth. I never meant to stay so long. But the forest, it binds you if your heart is uncertain. Elara stepped forward. Then why call me here? Because it's happening again, Lilian said. The veil is thinning. This forest, it guards a power that should not fall into the wrong hands. And someone is trying to break through. Suddenly, the ground trembled. A dark mist slithered into the clearing, coiling around the trees. The sky darkened. From the shadows emerged a figure, tall, cloaked, faceless. He has followed you, Lilian said, her voice urgent. He wants the forest's heart. Elara turned. What heart? Lilian pressed a glowing stone into her hand. This. It holds the forest's balance. Protect it. Run. But Elara stood her ground. No, she said. I won't run. The dark figure raised a hand, and a wave of shadow surged toward her. Elara gripped the stone and held it high. It pulsed with light, pure, warm, ancient. The shadows shattered like glass. The figure screamed, dissolving into mist. The forest sighed. Silence fell. Lilian smiled again, faintly now. You are stronger than I ever was. You're coming with me, Elara insisted. But her grandmother shook her head. I am part of this place now. But you must return and guard the gate. You are the forest's voice now. Elara sobbed, but nodded. The stone in her hand glowed brighter, wrapping her in a cocoon of light. She awoke at the edge of the forest. The sun was setting. The stone was still in her hand, pulsing softly. She turned to look behind her. The forest stood silent, but she no longer feared it. She understood it. It had secrets, yes. But it also had guardians. And now, she was one of them. Story summary. Echoes of the Forest is a fantasy adventure story about a brave teenager, Elara, who enters a mysterious and magical forest in search of answers about her missing grandmother. Inside, she discovers a hidden realm, a magical legacy, and a dangerous threat that could upset the balance between worlds. With courage and wisdom, Elara faces a dark force and learns that she is the new guardian of the forest, chosen to protect its ancient magic from those who seek to abuse it. The story blends mystery, emotion, and adventure in a tale of self-discovery and legacy.